Grant County Sheriff's Office.
Were you able to get a description of the intoxication?
Hi, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, I'm calling. I'm right on the corner of Main Street by Moonflower, and we're driving by, and I'd like to report a domestic dispute. Florida with the white van, Florida license plate, white van, gentleman,
Where's
about
it at?
5'6" beard. They just drove off. They're going down Main Street. They made a right onto Main Street from Moonflower.
Or what were they doing?
Cooperative, but what'd you say?
What were they doing?
We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
Okay, you said it's a white van?
White van. I can give you the license plate if you give me 1 sec. I took a picture of it.
What kind of white van? Like a big one?
It was a smaller van with the license plate of, it was white, Florida license plate QFT G03. It was, the make was a Ford, model was Transit, black ladder on the passenger side.
Black ladder, passenger side.
White Ford Transit.
White Ford Transit. And where did they, so they headed south on Main Street from Moonflower Market?
Correct. They made the right turn.
Oh, so they went north.
North. Yeah, sorry, I'm not from around here.
Okay, you're right there by the post office?
Right across the street, yep.
Okay, and when they turned onto Main Street, they went right or left?
Right.
Right, so they went north. North on Main. All right, I will let somebody know. Thank you.
So I saw Brian Laundrie parking his van August 26th at Spread Creek. So I'd already reported to the FBI what I had seen, and I wasn't 100% sure, but now that there's dash cam footage of the van where I saw it, I'm 100% certain that I did see him parking his van. And he was very kind of awkward and confused, and it was just him. There was no Gabby, but that's only because as a van lifer, I was checking out their van, and I was checking out to see if it was a couple or a solo dude. So it was a solo dude as far as I could see, unless she was in the back somewhere. But when I pulled up, he was driving still and hadn't yet pulled over. So I was like, hey, what are you going to do? Are you going to get over? Are you going to let me pass? Because it's only one car width of a road. And he kind of pulled over like halfway and made me drive out of the road to go around him. So I thought it was just really weird. And for a timeline, it was parked on the 26th. Sorry, my last video cut off. I guess I could only get 60 seconds, but it's probably a good thing because the FBI actually called me back after I posted that, and not because they saw my TikTok. So a group of friends and I were camped at Spread Creek from the 22nd to the 29th, and in that time frame, we all independently noticed that van parked there. And I noticed it particularly because I had seen it trying to park, and also because it wasn't actually parked in a designated spot. The Spread Creek area is a bunch of designated camping spots, and you're not supposed to camp outside those designated spots, and this van was not in a real spot, so I figured they'd get booted by the people that patrol the area. But the van was there for several days and nights, and it did not get booted. The weirdest part about it was that there was no indication that there was anybody actually at the van. Usually small van people have their doors open, they're outside, they have a hammock, something, but we didn't see any signs of actual life at the van. When Miranda Baker picked up hitchhiker Brian Laundrie here at Coulter Bay, he asked to go to Jackson, right? And Jackson is south. But I think what he realized was that when they turned here to go to Jackson, which you can get to Jackson, that takes you back through the park. He probably assumed they were going to go this way, which is the bigger route, right? And Spread Creek, where we saw the van up until the 29th, was, right in this area. So I think he was trying to get back to this area and was like, oh, no, this isn't going to get me where I need to go.
New witnesses have come forward to say they believe they're among the last people to see Gabby Petito alive. This couple says they saw Gabby and Brian Laundrie fighting with waitresses at a Mexican restaurant. They claim Brian showed an explosive temper while Gabby was in tears. Stephen Fabian has more.
New witnesses have come forward describing a fight involving Brian Laundrie shortly before police believe his fiancée, Gabby Petito, was killed.
We just had a front row view to the whole thing. And
she was visibly
upset. She was crying.
Nina Angelo and her boyfriend Matt England say they saw Brian Laundrie having an argument with the staff in this Mexican restaurant in Jackson, Wyoming. The couple says the incident happened on August 27th, 2 weeks after that other now notorious fight, which led police in Utah to separate Gabby and Brian Laundrie. How would you describe his anger level?
I said, this guy is creeping me out. I remember those were my exact words because his temper, you could feel it. We were at this restaurant, you guys, Friday, August 27th, 1 p.m., sitting right next to them. They got kicked out of the restaurant and were fighting with the hostess. They were fighting with the hostess. She was hysterically crying. And she walked out and she was crying and she was staying on the sidewalk. And I was watching the whole thing unfold. And he walked back in the restaurant and he's fighting with the hostess. And I didn't know what happened. I don't even know if they got kicked out, but they left abruptly. And she was standing on the sidewalk crying and he walked back in and was screaming at the hostess and then walked back out. And then he walked back in 4 more times to talk to the manager and to tell the hostess off. And
Ms. Angelo said she couldn't overhear what the argument was about, but it appeared to be over money. It's crazy because it wasn't just like we passed them on the street. It was a full-blown incident, Ms. Angelo told Fox News. Staff at the restaurant told Fox they couldn't remember the incident, saying summer was an especially busy time of year.
I feel like I'm gonna cry. This is so fucking weird. I went to the bath. They were sitting right next to us. Right fucking next to us, and we were both sitting right by the hostess stand, right by the front door. I went to the bathroom, I came back, and they were abruptly leaving, something happened. At first my first thought was they were displeased with the service and they were walking out, or they were trying to get out of paying their bill, but it was kind of like a scene. And I was zoned in for some reason, and Matt was on his phone, and I was like, babe, put your phone down, something is going on. You guys, it was a fucking scene, something that doesn't happen every day at a restaurant. The way he was acting, she was crying, she was upset. This had to have been right before she died. So she walks out, she's upset, she's crying, and he's more angry. You could tell it's more sadness for her, and she's crying for some reason. I don't know if she was embarrassed or what, because I don't know. I couldn't hear. I don't know what was going on. I could just see what was unfolding. And so she's standing on the sidewalk. I could see her through the front door, and she's standing on the sidewalk crying. And he walks out with her, but then right away turns around, walks right back in, and he's, kind of violently talking to the hostess, and you could tell he's angry. And they're just kind of doing the whole sorry, we don't know what to tell you kind of thing. You could tell he was relentless. He wouldn't drop it. Whatever it was, he wouldn't drop it. He walked out. He walked back in the restaurant probably 4 more times, just to kind of make a scene and just to get his point across, which, I don't know what that was. I really don't know what happened, but she just apologized. I think she was telling him, come on, just drop it, let's go. And she looked at the hostess and she was just I'm sorry.
So I couldn't find it exactly on the map where Gabby's van was pinpointed on the map the last time it was seen, which was the 27th of August. But basically what I did was I just wrote down Spread Creek to the Mary Piglet's Mexican Grill restaurant, and it looks like it's about a 36-minute drive, so it could be around 30-minute drive that they were on. And that's a fair long time, to be in a car with each other when they've just come out from the restaurant. He is aggressive. He is the aggressor, and he's extremely angry. He's in a rage. Everything's blown up, and Gabby, I think she said Gabby was crying and was apologizing for his behavior. And you can imagine if they're getting in the car together, really shaken up like that. Well, Gabby would have been shaken up. He's possibly still fuming. A 36-minute drive or a 30-minute drive, what were they talking about? Was there dead silence, or was he angry at her and lashing out? You got to kind of wonder what was escalating even further between them in the van back to their camp spot, and that was the last anyone had ever seen Gabby, as far as we know. Apparently the incident at the restaurant was around money, so maybe they didn't have enough or whatever, I don't know. But Brian was really angry at the waitress there, and she was hysterically crying, according to the witness. And it just makes you wonder, were they fighting about money? Because that's something most couples do fight over, is either children or money. They're the two main things that people fight over, or even family, family members and things like that extended. They're probably the most three things that people fight over. So if they're fighting around money and there's stress around money and being broke or whatever, then that's definitely going to, bring on a lot of tension between them.
On August 27th, 2021, we got camera footage going through the Grand Tetons Park around 6 to 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, as we're coming up on it, we're approaching it up here on the left-hand side. This is most definitely Gabby Petito's Ford Transit van. It's kind of wild, like it's insane a little bit, because we drove past. We actually weren't able to find any sites, and we ended up driving back through, saw it again, but here it is on the left. So.
And I slowed it down so you can possibly see it a little bit better.
In a recent news article, Miss Petito's mother, Nicole Schmidt, received a final text from her daughter on the 27th of August, a police search warrant revealed. Miss Schmidt said the text was odd because Miss Petito mentioned her grandfather by his first name, Stan. "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls," the text said, according to the warrant. The text exchange formed part of a warrant obtained by Northport Police to search the Laundrie family home on Monday. Unfortunately, this article does not tell us a certain time. I don't think it's been publicised exactly the time that this text message was sent through, but I'm thinking with the restaurant incident and then them going to the campsite, if they were there already on the 26th, like the first witness had said, then that means they're travelling back and forth. So they've already got a spot that they're going back to. And so if we're thinking about maybe they left around 2 p.m, just say as an estimate, that gives them 4 hours. There's a 4-hour window before the travellers have seen the van there at 6:30. So I'm wondering, did Gabby on the way home, or any time in that 4 hours, text this to her mother as a cry for help?
A News 12 at 10 exclusive. The best friend of Blue Point's Gabby Petito opening up about Gabby's relationship prior to her disappearance. News 12's Virginia Huey has the story.
Scroll through Gabby Petito's Instagram page and watch her YouTube channel. You'll see a sea of smiling faces, selfies in the sunshine, and kisses against idyllic landscapes.
Gabby Petito never goes outside.
The Blue Point native portrayed a carefree life of travels with her boyfriend Brian Laundrie as they journeyed across the U.S. in her cherished van. The life that 22-year-old Petito showcases on social media, however, might be a stark contrast to the experiences she had before vanishing without a trace in late August.
This whole thing is just so heartbreaking.
Rose Davis is Petito's best friend. Speaking with me from her home in Sarasota, Florida, Davis says she witnessed a different side of the couple's relationship when the cameras weren't rolling. Davis says Laundrie was the jealous and manipulative one in the relationship.
A little bit of like the controlling I noticed of getting what he wants, like that's a red flag. That's a toxic trait. He was always charismatic and making Gabby breakfast almost every morning. But you can see the jealousy side, and he also wanted what he wanted when he wanted it. And he'd find a way to get it, and not in a a violent manner, but if he didn't want Gabby to do something, he'd find a way to make it so she couldn't do it.
Davis met Petito 2 years ago when Petito moved from Blue Point to live in Northport, Florida with Laundrie and his family. The young women connected on Bumble BFF and quickly became besties. They shared good times dancing in TikTok videos, taking selfies in the car, and making trips to their favorite ice cream shop.
She's very easygoing, and she's just this bright light. that shines on everyone.
When Davis saw the Utah police body cam video showing her easygoing best friend crying uncontrollably, Davis says she was upset but not surprised.
They have had similar fights.
The couple was pulled over in Moab, Utah on August 12th while they were having an emotional fight.
We've been fighting all morning and he wouldn't let me in the car before.
It has to take a lot for her to get that hysterical. It does. It has to take a lot for it to come to that because, as I said, very easygoing and loving always.
Petito was reported missing by her family a month later. Laundrie, who police named a person of interest in Petito's disappearance, has refused to talk to cops. On Friday, Laundrie's family reported that he, too, is missing.
It's all just so crazy and surreal.
Virginia Huey, News 12.
To her house either second or third time, and he was hanging out there, and yeah, that's when I first met him.
Oh, what was their relationship? Or what is their relationship?
Thank you. On the outside, he's very charismatic, so it seems very loving, and there's no doubt in my mind that she loves him, and I know that, and from how I've always seen it, he loves her. Of course, like any relationship, there was arguments, and she'd come stay at my house when there was arguments just to, like, get away from it, you know, and I didn't ask much questions, because if she wanted to tell me, she could tell me, you know.
How many times did she come and stay with you?
I couldn't give a number, but I mean, within the first year, I mean, I want to say at least 7 to 10 times.
Do you remember any one particular incident that you were particularly upset about?
Yeah, well, we were supposed to go line dancing. It was ladies' night, and her drive is about 30 minutes to me, and halfway there, she realized her ID was missing, and so it caused a really big argument because Brian just didn't want her to go out, and it was a jealousy issue, and it caused a huge argument between them, and she came over and cried and just talked to me about what happened and told me all that she was comfortable telling me.
Did you feel that their relationship was getting more problematic?
I do believe that their relationship, as they kept going on, was getting a little, yeah, problematic. I mean, just seemed like there was more and more arguments, and everything she did, I feel like, you know, he thought was wrong, and even as she said in the body cam, he didn't even support her with her blog, which that's not what a fiance or boyfriend does. They support you with anything you want to do, and that in itself, you know, made me feel like it just continued to get worse.
Brian is not talking to the police. What's your message?
I just wish him and his family would realize how serious it is, and my friend's life is at stake, and I would really just appreciate it if he would speak up. And he saw her last. If he says something, he has more information. Even just one little thing gives us a place to start. And I just wish he'd say something.
So the clip that you're about to watch is William, the neighbour of the Laundries. He's actually witnessed the parents and Brian packing things into a camper van. This is after Brian has returned home. I think it was about a week after he'd returned home. They're all packing things into a camper van, and they all went away for the weekend.
Pickup, and I didn't think anything unusual. You know, they got a new camper, so they wanted to put their own touch inside of it. I saw them doing some work, then when they prepared for their trip, I saw them loading the camper.
Now you're talking about Brian and his parents after he returned home, is that correct? In a different camper?
Yes, the van is his. His father has a pickup truck, which they purchased a in-bed camper.
Like an attachment camper. And then you say that they packed up that camper, Brian and his mom and dad, and they went camping. Do you know that for sure?
We saw them, I saw them loading it up, and so I assumed they were preparing for, a camping trip with their new camper.
They were going for the weekend.
Yes.
So how long after he got back, alone in that white van? How long after that was this, when you saw them working on this other camper and getting ready to go away together?
Yeah, I can't remember, the dates.
Week and a half.
Yeah, probably week and a half. I agree with that.
So
yes.
did the police ever talk to you about what you saw, the parents and Brian working on this new camper and then leaving for a few days? Did they ask you about that?
I believe that we did give them that information.
We did tell them that they had gone on a camping trip for 3 days for the weekend.
Did you think there was anything unusual about that?
Well,
after we knew they were missing, after Gabby was missing, when they came to our house on Saturday night a week ago and told us they were working a missing persons case.
Yeah.
Then,
Also, which struck me as I spoke to my wife about, is that the parents going on a trip, I can see that, but taking their 23-year-old son in a small camper that's on the back of the truck.
As part of a search warrant conducted in the Laundrie's home, photographs were taken for evidence, and we can see Brian Laundrie's bedroom right here with lots of things circled. So in the top far left, we see a Darth Vader mask, and there's a little gun that's got an American flag on the side of the bookcase there. And on the little bookcase, we've got little comic books down the bottom there called Watchmen comic books. And on the bookshelf, you can see some artwork, and it's depicting violence. There's figures in there, black figures with swords and axes, and they're killing other beings, whatever they are, but it's just, once again, showing violence. So the next few pictures you're going to see are from Brian Laundrie's Pinterest account, and basically we see all sorts of different artistry here. We see ghosts and clowns, and there's writing on this which is pretty interesting and possibly very disturbing. And one says, let her go, God bless her, wherever she may be. And then I can't read the smaller writing, but it says something about she'll never something like me. And then we've got a gravestone saying, my baby. In this one titled The Opposite of Lost, it says, don't try to find me. I have finally escaped my master's wicked clutches. To the others I say, join me, bite the hand that feeds you. And this is one he posted of an embroidered pillow saying, sorry, with the picture of a camper van, for what I said while we were trying to park the camper. Wow. Here's some other dark art. And I don't know what SC is representing, but can you guys let me know? It could be a comic book, it could be an author, I don't know, or an artist's work. SC, maybe somebody will know. So these are 2 photos taken from 5 photos, I think it was, that were posted on Gabby's Instagram, and these were the last ones posted, labelled Happy Halloween, which is very interesting considering it's not Halloween, and she was alive then because people have seen her. People have seen her. The last sighting that we know of was at the restaurant at 1 p.m. on the 27th of August. So why would she be putting that up there? It's very interesting.
Tonight, Fox 13 News has learned an Ogden business may be able to offer more clues to investigators.
Fox 13's John Franke is in Ogden tonight at a site where Petito shared photos on social media. John.
Well, guys, the couple shared their travels all over social media. So check out this butterfly mural behind me. It is distinctive, it is vibrant. It also appears in the background of the final post made to Petito's Instagram account some 3 weeks ago.
Now we're all the way in Utah, and luckily enough, I was able to set up my hammock in one of these trees.
And we're kind of like in the desert.
Very few trees. A YouTube video shows us Gabby Petito and her fiance Brian Laundrie were here in Utah. This is their van driving through the salt flats, and they experience the summer thunderstorms.
The tent is just coming in on me. The wind is so bad.
That video was uploaded on August 19th, 6 days before this photo was posted to Gabby's Instagram. The caption reads, "Happy Halloween." Today, the Monarch confirmed those photos were taken in front of the store's butterfly mural. A spokesperson confirmed to me the Monarch is searching through their surveillance footage and working with the FBI, looking for any glimpse of the young woman who has seemingly vanished without a trace.
At least 3 times a week, we would FaceTime, call, text frequently. She kept me updated on this whole trip.
Her mother and father are agonizing, not knowing where she is. The last time they heard from her was August 25th, the same day these photos were uploaded.
I'm a 42-year-old grown man begging for your help.
Now some of that help is coming from this corner of Ogden. We don't know if the surveillance video will uncover any clues, but it could be one piece of this investigation now focused on the Mountain West.
Meanwhile, the search of a vast Florida swamp for Gabby's fiance continued today. It's 10 days since 23-year-old Brian Laundrie disappeared in the hazardous Carlton Reserve. Police divers are also joining the search, along with cadaver dogs. Could he still be alive? I spoke to wilderness expert Brooke Wright.
How difficult is it for an average person to survive in these woods?
This is such an unrelenting environment, and any number of things here want to hurt you. It's wet, there's venomous snakes, there's alligators, spiders, everything out here is incredibly difficult to deal with.
She showed me how he could survive for weeks by eating insects.
You've got worms. Worms are also a good source of...
You could eat that?
You could eat that. There's a variety of things that live in here that are suitable to eat.
Another possibility, Laundrie is long gone.
This is I-75, which cuts right through the nature reserve where investigators have been searching for Brian Laundrie for the past few days. Now, this interstate runs from here in Florida all the way north to Canada. So if you take a ride on this road for just a few days, you can get pretty much anywhere.
John Walsh, host of Investigation Discovery's In Pursuit, is featuring the case on his show. He has Brian Laundrie squarely in his sights and doubts he was ever in the swamp.
The last day, we got 10 very solid tips on the In Pursuit hotline, and we turned those over to the U.S. Marshals and the FBI. So tonight, I'm hoping the world will be a lot smaller place for Brian Laundrie.
Reported sightings have been called into cops from across Florida.
Callers advising that a civilian possibly sees Brian Laundrie.
And police have identified the man in this photo taken by a game cam 500 miles from the search site. Turns out it's not Laundrie. Northport police and the FBI continue taking heat for letting Laundrie slip through their fingers.
I asked one question to the FBI and the Northport police. How the hell did that guy get out of the house right in front of your eyes?